So I'm here with Salt in Birmingham
Today, we're in Brighton asking the public
about Christian dating.
It's time to ask the public about faith. How important is a shared faith in a relationship? Let's find out.
Having a share values, it is important, but faith, it's very intimate and private matter.
What if one person in the relationship was Christian and the other person was atheist? Do you think that matters or not really?
It shouldn't, if they have the same values in terms of the life big questions, then
I think it would help.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's important. Again, I think tolerance, because I don't like the term practicing Christian, but I'm a practicing Christian.
Same.
In as much as I go to church weekly.
And so just an understanding, whether you're atheist and Christian or both Christians, an understanding of one another's views is important.
Understanding each other's views is very, very important, I think, yes. And accepting them. Yeah.
If you were to date someone and there was Christian or any other religion, do you think it's important you share that faith, or would you be okay with not?
I think it completely depends on how against the other faiths they are. I think if they're very much like, no, this is right and I'm right and you're wrong, that's completely that would have to be the end of it. But I think if they were open to learning new things about the other faith, I think that would be a good thing, yeah.
Do you think having a shared faith is important and essential in a relationship?
It's essential with us because we're brought up in a religion and always have been, and if you want to know what we are, we're Jehovah's Witnesses.
Interesting.
So we know what we should do, what we got to keep away from. Yeah.
For us, definitely, but it means that you've got the same foundation to build your life on. You have the same moral standard. We're not divided in any way in any of our sort of spiritual thoughts and practices. So it is important.
It will be difficult. Maybe it will be difficult.
Why would it be difficult?
Religion is a massive wall between people, I think. Culture.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think. I never
that's fine.
I never date to a Muslim or a Buddhist or whatever.
Yeah.
But it will be difficult. Not maybe for the person.
Yeah.
Maybe for the other people.
Yeah. Amazing.
Probably is for those people.
Yeah. And why is that, do you think?
Because if faith is important to somebody, that's something that needs to be shared,
Agreed.
I think it must be tricky to have a relationship if you're religious and your partner isn't. But I don't know, I'm not religious.
How important is shared faith? Do you guys share the same faith or beliefs or anything like that?
Well, I think we're both spiritual, but we're not. I'm kind of religious, but she's not as religious. But I think because it doesn't conflict with each other, it doesn't really cause much of an issue. So
Lovely.
I do think it's important that you're on the same page, but you don't have to have the exact same faith.
Yeah.
What religion are you, sorry?
I'm Hindu.
Hindu. And you're just open to that?
Oh, yeah. Well, I consider myself Hindu as well, following all the traditions.
Yeah. Oh, fabulous.
From an atheist background, but I think because I love him, I'd like to sort of experience what he's experiencing at the same time. So
Yeah, as long as they're open and there's no conflicts with ideas.
I think it's important that he's not forcing me to become Hindu. It's more me wanting to get to know more of his religion.
I think it's not really about religion. I think it is about beliefs and values and what's important to each other. I think if they don't align, then it'll be difficult to have a relationship. I think an atheist and a Christian, why not?
Yeah.
If they love each other and trust each other, it shouldn't really matter. It's the same with politics, isn't it?
Would you only date a Christian?
Yeah, I think so.
Fair enough. And why is that?
Because I feel like it'll be really hard, especially if I'm going to church every Sunday.
Yeah.
And just in the back of my mind, if I'm putting God first and they're not, then it just won't work.
And you'd want to raise your kids Christian, I assume, eventually?
Yeah, hopefully.
It would be a challenge. The person who doesn't have a strong faith would have to be very forgiving.
Right.
Because it's, if somebody is very committed to a religion, it makes it very demanding on a relationship.
So you think maybe that person with the stronger faith should date someone with a similar faith?
I think if you are somebody who is very serious about your religion, you should think very carefully about the person that you stay with.
Having opposing views is okay if you respect each other's views, but having the same sort of views always helps, I think.
Probably. I wouldn't know because I'm just agnostic and don't have a strong faith, but I would have thought so, yeah.
Why is that?
Because they clash often. Different religions wouldn't necessarily complement each other in the ways that we've talked about. So yeah, I would say it probably is important.
I think respect is a two-way street. So as long as you respect the other person's beliefs and they respect yours, then you can make it work.
Definitely, I think faith in each other is more important than anything else, but having a combined sense of purpose in your place in the world is definitely something that helps things come to a full circle, really.
I think it is. I don't think you need to be dating exactly the same person. Obviously, if there's two people and you have a Venn diagram, there obviously you'd want certain things to align on. I don't think that. So my friend, she's Christian, Catholic, and her partner is Muslim, and I mean, I think they're a really good example of a relationship that's working because they've had very open talks about this is who I'd want the faith I would want my children raised as, and she's gone, okay, so what am I? How accepting am I of each other's faiths? What do we do? How do we integrate and give space for that? So I think it's possible. Probably makes things easier.
Right. But it's not essential.
I don't think it's essential.
In terms of religion, no. In terms of a form of like moral, like morals in terms of what they do in their life, sort of, they has to align, or else it's just going to cause arguments, really.
You know, if you're very, very strict about something, you're going to be conflicted at constantly, and also family might come into the case as well. You know, conflicting families with different faiths.
I think it's really important to be aligned, and I think shared faith is definitely something that allows you both to reach, a place where you're happy, and I feel that faith is important because it guides you and it keeps your relationship strong and fresh.
Faith is a weird thing. Like, sure, like sometimes faith is like requires you to have that similarity, but it can work. I don't know. I'm faithless, so for me, it's hard for me to imagine being in a relationship with a person that has faith.
I don't think it's essential. I think it can be important for some people. I think I'm not religious, so I don't really know. It's not really my problem, but I think it can be. I think sometimes when you have such a different belief system to one another, I think that can be a problem.
The main thing is finding somebody you like and they like you.
Yeah, well, that's a good one.
Well, that was interesting. I'd love to hear your thoughts, so make sure to comment them below. And for more interviews about faith and dating, make sure to drop us a follow.